Good evening and welcome to the Thursday, November 3rd, 2002 Scarborough Board of Education public meeting. May we call the attendance, please?
Sure. Mrs. Giftis? Here. Mr. Kelleher?
Here.
Ms. Leong?
Here.
Mrs. Lindstrom?
Here.
Ms. Trapani Huff?
Here.
And Mrs. Turner?
Here. Would everybody please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
My apologies. I did not include attendance for our student board members. Mr. Shumway?
Here.
Ms. Bertulia?
She's been excused.
Thank you. My apologies.
All right, agenda item 4.0 are adjustments to the agenda. Are there any adjustments?
No adjustments.
All right, agenda item 5.0 is public comment on agenda items. Is there anybody wishing to make public comment tonight? Is there anybody? All right, seeing none, I will close public comment. Agenda item 6.0 is the superintendent's report.
So I just in 2 slides shared a letter to staff that went out earlier this week and to the community, just a couple of highlights as was voted on at our last board meeting. The SEA and BOE have now both voted, ratified, and signed a new professional staff contract covering 2022, 2025. So just a special thank you to everyone who was involved. Both negotiating teams really worked hard to arrive at an agreement. And then also immediately following those signatures, business office has gotten to work immediately processing the new salary adjustments and retroactive pay. And just really felt, I think both sides really walked away feeling like we're putting the needs of our students and families and community first. And it was just, for me being my first kind of round of negotiations here in Scarborough, just really impressed with both sides and just how it all went overall. So that was big news this past week. And then election day is right around the corner. We're going to be welcoming, Scarborough Schools will be welcoming 3 new BOE members. Also, parent conferences are getting rolling right around that time. So we got a busy few weeks coming up before Thanksgiving. And then also just wanted to note for the community too, there have been several visioning workshops that have been held for the public on the primary school project. And also we've had the opportunity in October to have the entire staff kind of weigh in and do some educational visioning with around this project as well. So that happened in October, and we continue to put together all the different feedback that we've received as we get closer to hopefully within the next couple of months identifying a potential site for a new building.
Good, thank you. Are there any questions for Jeff? All right. Agenda item 7.0 is the chair's report. I just have a couple of things. First, Jeff covered some of this, but early voting did end today. So we are in full swing for what? Oh. Not to worry, because you can go to the high school on Tuesday, the 8th. From 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. and you can vote then. There are quite a few items on the ballot, quite a few, there's a state and then local ballots. As Jeff mentioned, we are electing 3 candidates to our open seats, our open school board seats. There's also a proposed town charter amendments on the ballot, some of which pertain to us as the school board, including, if you recall, we talked about moving that election day for board members from November to June. So that is on the ballot. So, and as we discussed, the rationale for us is that it does help us to onboard new members easier, and it aligns with the school year versus that January to December calendar year. There's other other things to vote on. There are open seats for town council, 2 of those that are with candidates to fill those seats. And then things like the state general election and then the proposed library expansion is also on ballot. So if you haven't voted already, we hope to see you at the polls on Tuesday. All right. So as we just said, we're electing 3 new board members. So today is our last meeting with Alicia and Kristen. So I have a few things that I wanted to say. I know we have.
Yep.
Or do you want to do one next? We have just a couple of items for you. Oh. There's something that's just there.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh my God.
I think all of us know, but just for those listening in, both Kristen and Alicia have been really instrumental in all the work we do. Finance, policy, long-range planning, curriculum, communications. I mean, I think you have touched every single committee, and both of you have been incredibly instrumental in the new school building process. Alicia from the very beginning, and then Kristen really bringing something that was an idea to fruition and to where we are now, where we can see that this is a reality. So both of you have left a lasting impact on this district, but also I would say to each of us individually, I'm going to just look right ahead. So with Alicia, I just wanted to tell you, for me, I think that you have the biggest heart of anybody I've ever seen. You are the most passionate person, and you go to bat for everybody for what you think is right. And it doesn't matter what others think. It's what you think is right. And you're always challenging us to make the district better and to make it better for the students and the staff. And Kristen, you are the most thoughtful person I know. You think about everybody all the time. What is the impact? Who is going to benefit? Who is going to suffer more so than anybody I've ever thought? And it makes it so fun to talk things through with you, because I tend to be a little quicker and you're more thoughtful and measured with it. And you cause me to take a moment you always cause me to take a moment and consider, am I thinking of everybody's perspective all the time? So you challenge us to be more thoughtful and to be better in our approach and to be better for everybody, not just 1 or 2 students, but for everybody. So together, the 2 of you are this dynamic duo, and I'm not really sure what we're going to do without you, but thank you. I think for me I thank you for working with me. And then I also thank you for representing me. So I would say from all of us that you represent, all of us that you work with, thank you from the bottom of our collective hearts. So thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. So I'm sure I'll give you both an opportunity to say, but does anybody else have anything they want to say before I let them have at it?
Ditto.
Well said. Well said.
I just wanted to say, my first year on here, I have to admit, it probably wasn't the easiest, but I think over time, just our relationships have really grown, even with really differing opinions. And I think I've learned a lot from the both of you, just on how you approach things when we discuss anything. Like Shannon said, you guys are very thoughtful and caring and always thinking bigger picture. So I thank you for all of your efforts and everything that you've done, your voice in the matter. So I look forward to seeing you guys watching us here.
Yeah, you're still going to come to all the meetings, right? So,
I can echo what everybody else has said. You have been excellent mentors. You have represented the district very, expertly through these years. This past year has been a huge learning curve, and you guys have been amazing through that. I've learned definitely, well, all that I know from you. So thank you very much. And you guys will really be missed.
Do either of you want to?
Well, I just want to say at the end of the day, it's all about people, and I'm really grateful for the people that I've met and the relationships that I've made, and for what I've learned from all of you. And you all have taught me so much. And it's really interesting to me how each of us has brought something so unique to the table. And I think we've been able to learn from each other. So I'm really going to miss that, that insight and the ability to grow from what you bring and challenge me with. So thank you so much for that. That's really meant a lot to me. And this district, I'm really lucky to live here in Scarborough and have kids and that have been educated in this district. And so thank you to, Jeff and Diane and Kelly and really all of the educators that have touched the lives of my family. And really, I'm so appreciative of that opportunity for my family. And so it's been a fun journey, and I'm glad it's done.
I'm not going to say too much because I will get very emotional. I didn't think I would be this sad, but I am a little bit sad. But I think I was saying to a couple of you earlier, this experience is so unique, and you just get this experience with each other that you can't really replicate, I don't think, anywhere else. So like Alicia said, I'm so appreciative of all the exchanges and the thoughtful conversations and the hard work from all of you. And I really appreciate all that. I will miss you guys and wish you the absolute best.
We will miss you. We are all incredibly lucky to have worked with you, to have talked with you, to have been represented by you. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right. Agenda item 8.0 are the committee reports. So let's see, we have communications first.
Well, we have our first spotlight award now already. It was Brian Marshall, and we are looking for more sufficient OAs, so we will continue to do that. But we are excited to announce.
Thank you. Yeah. What? Okay. We are excited to announce our next one later this month. That's it.
Are there any questions? Jillian? All right. Next is Jenna, Finance Committee.
Yep, so our last meeting was October 13th at 4:30 to 5:30. And our topics of discussion at the time were budget needs from Building Communications Committee. But at the time they had a meeting scheduled for a date after this current meeting. So I didn't have anything to update for that particular meeting, but we also reviewed project timelines and discussed planning funds after FY23. And then we also actually had a heavy discussion about student activity fees, particularly for the high school. We discussed the existing policy on fees and how they've always been there, just hasn't been strictly enforced. So there were some questions on like, why are we paying these fees now? But we got clarification that those fees have always been there. So we also just discussed the pros and cons of having maybe a tiered fee structure or having a flat fee to have most participation. I don't think we really fully landed on anywhere yet. And it'll be kind of a conversation with policy also on it. So that's our last update. And then next meeting, I probably to be determined, because we're going to have a whole new set of people and we're going to have to kind of reorganize everything. So we don't know where everything lands right now.
Perfect. Thank you, Jenna. Any questions for Jenna? All right, building committee.
All right, so our next, our joint, it's on, right? Our joint workshop with the town council is coming up on the 16th. We're going to continue to align on the why, remind why the solution is a solution. Update the timeline on the site selection, as Jeff mentioned. Discussion, further discussion, questions from the town council. I'm sure there will be a lot of really interesting conversation there and some more work for us to do beyond that. But hopefully we can all get on the same page and move forward together. And there continues to be opportunities to get involved with the building steering committee. And that is on the link of the district website, on the district website.
Perfect. Thank you. Any questions? I will just put in another plug for the workshop with town council. These will probably, between now and November of 2023, when we hope to go to referendum, will be fairly frequent. And it's really important that if we as board members, if we carve out the time to attend these, they are, it's really important that we're there and we show how important this is to us so that we can align with the town council on moving this project forward. So the workshop on the 16th is set to start at 5:30. It will be here in chambers. All right, curriculum, John.
Yes, we had our last meeting on the 26th of October, where we defined and discussed social emotional learning, SEL, and why it benefits students. I don't know if people can get into the link. You don't have to, but I mean, it's just, I put that there with all the slides because there's so much information. It's really amazing what you can find out from looking through it. We discussed the process by which the SEL curriculum is selected. We also discussed interest in having a school board workshop with Monique, where it was dedicated to talking about SEL and going over that. We have our next meeting set for November 30th. Our meetings are good. She gave us dates, so she's really finite with her time because she's doing so much right now. So she gave me one date through June each month that we're going to try to make work. So.
Are there any questions for John? Did she say, just out of curiosity, did she say what the process was? What did she say the process was for the SEL curriculum?
Yes, she did. You'd have to ask her or go through the slides because I couldn't possibly regurgitate that. It's just, it's involved.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting. So it's, I couldn't be into, I don't have the knowledge that she does for what they do.
Right. Thank you. Are there any other questions? Perfect. Before we get into liaison reports, policy met right before this meeting, and one of the things we had, one of the agenda items we had was the transgender and gender expansive student policy that we were set to talk about today. And there was a lot of discussion around making sure the community was properly notified that we were going to talk about this policy. And the DEI committee had specifically asked to be notified if we were talking about policies of interest to them, to that committee. So, and the third thing is that, as we've mentioned a few times now, we're getting ready to transition the board. And there is, some concern about starting a policy with potentially this much interest without, with one board and then continuing it with a second board. So given those three reasons, we did decide to table the discussion. And we will wait for the new board and the new committees to be seated, and that will be the first one we take up, and that we can, we also discussed working with communications to really set up a portion of the newsletter where we are informing the community every month what the policy committee is working on and what policies are up for discussion. Just so, because these policies of course impact families as well. And so that they have a constant agenda essentially that they can see going forward. So we'll take that up with the new committee. We also went through a few of our other policies that were outstanding and that we hadn't finished. We did get finished with the EBCC bomb threat policy. So that will come up at our next board meeting for first reading. And then we continue to talk through school sanctioned trips, and we did start discussing student fees. So what Jenna mentioned for finance, we did start to have that discussion in policy. And really it's again, a much larger conversation about the direction we want our district to go in. What is our district philosophy going to be in the way of sports and activities, and how do we encourage participation to the best of our ability? So we've essentially teed up a good list for the next policy committee that's coming on. And DEI had to cancel their meeting because of illness, so they will be meeting next month as well. Are there any liaison reports?
Town council is going to sometime soon take up their GMO again, and they mentioned that they will probably be looking for some board input as one of the stakeholders to that policy or ordinance, I guess. And then also town council moved their meeting that should have been last night to next week so that they can certify the election results. So you guys should have your board members attend, assuming they go get sworn in, but they'll certify those on Wednesday.
Thank you. All right, agenda item 9.0. Oh, I'm sorry. Does anybody have any questions for Kristen? And are there any other liaison reports? Okay. Agenda item 9.0 are student reports. So I will turn this over to Colby, who is covering for Yulia and doing his report.
First one I got is Whiteworth, and they have this new reward system called respect tokens, and their way to reinforce expected behavior on a daily basis. And they're also used on the spirit days. And you can play it. There's some video of the student explaining what that is basically.
Uh-oh. Oh. Oh. Wanted to hear it again. Yes, that was so good.
All right. And then on to the middle school. This isn't my territory, but they had the Spirit Week. I don't know when, but recently. And these are some pictures from that week and what they dressed up as, and looked like a fun time. And then this is just a overview of some of the things that happened this fall in terms of like athletics and other clubs, and also looks like a fun time going on here. And then it's more relevant. I know what's going on more with the high school, but there was a club fair, and each club basically made their own poster. And right here is one for Ecos. And you basically just walked around during advisory and looked at each poster and got to see what's going on in each club. And then believe it was a few weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, there was a homecoming Spirit Week, and there was anything but a backpack day, country versus country club, Adam Sandler day, and Storm day. And that definitely went well. People dressed up, and I did too. It was a fun week. And then there was a pep rally to cap that off at the end of the week. And each grade had like a certain amount of points based on their spirit and how they were during the assembly. And you can see here, next slide, that these are the points per grade. I think juniors got more points than sophomores, but I don't know. But yeah. And then also there have been several athletic achievements. I think boys soccer and girls soccer I think they won regionals and they're going to states. So it's a great thing going on, and that's all I have.
Is that accurate that you only earn, your grade only earned 4 points?
No, I thought we got second. I don't know. I don't think that's true, but
You said the points were earned during homecoming week, right?
I believe either homecoming week or during the assembly, but yeah,
Do
What were
seniors
they
always
earned?
win?
yes, it's
What
rigged.
were the points earned for?
Like the spirit stick and how loud they were for each game, I guess you could say.
I
This
bet
might
that-
just be this points by grade might be during the week though, not the assembly. I would believe that if it was during the week. Yeah.
Maybe that was meant to be 54.
Yeah.
Perfect. Is there any other questions for Colby? Are there any other questions? Thank you so much. You did a wonderful job.
Thank you.
All right, agenda item 10.0 is the MSBA resolution update. So for this, I will turn it over to Jillian.
Okay, thank you. All right, well, that was held last Saturday. It was by Zoom. It was an interesting experience. There were, do you want me to list all the? All right. So basically everything passed except for one thing. One of the things that we had discussed pretty significantly was the school board public comment period, and that required a supermajority and did not pass by a small margin. There were, more interest in keeping these rules more local for individual school boards, which I think makes sense. And then the other thing that we discussed significantly that did pass, it was very, I thought that was really important, was changing the way that we fund the meals asking Congress to change I'm sorry, the free and reduced meal application is currently the way that we do things. And it's not really a great measure in a place where school lunches are free and there's not a big incentive to fill those out, and also maybe not the best measure anyway. So I think that the request was for median household income as they're done in other places. So that did pass. So that resolution is going through. There was not as much discussion on the other items. They all kind of passed pretty quickly. There was minor changes to like alternative certification. That actually was an interesting conversation. And so the idea is to pass some language that would allow for some different types of certification to get teachers certified. And also to change the way that legislative mandates. I'm sorry. To end the way that to try to put an end to unfunded mandates being pushed down from the state level to to schools and districts, and to try to keep again once more local. And so that was pretty much the gist of it. It was a really interesting experience. Does anybody have any questions?
So on the public comment, if I remember our conversation, the concern was on whether somebody had to be a resident of the town.
Yeah. And
Is that was that the concern?
that was
at
the same conversation
at
that
the-
was had. It was, there were really good arguments for both sides of that. Similar to our discussion, who are they taking IDs? What's happening? And ultimately it came down to leaving that as a local choice.
Thank you.
Thank you for representing us during that, Jillian.
Yes, thank you so much for representing us. All right. Agenda item 11.0 is new business. 11.1 are the meeting minutes of October 6, 2022. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? All right. I think we're ready to call the vote. Oh, well, do you have this? That's okay. Oh, because we're the main. Got it. Okay. All in favor? All right, motion passes. Thank you. Agenda item 11.2 is the second reading of policy JLI, the procedure for reports of dangerous behavior by students. Do I have a motion to approve the second reading?
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? All right, all in favor? All right, thank you. Motion passes. Agenda item 11.3 are appointments, and 11.3.1 is the high school club advisor.
So this is for National Honor Society, Amy LaBelle, appointed as the high school club advisor for National Honor Society.
All right. Do I have a motion to approve the high school club advisor as presented?
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? All right, all in favor? All right, motion passes. 11.3.2 is the Wentworth School Behavioral Specialist.
All right, Catherine Lyons has been nominated to fill this newly created position. Ms. Lyons received her bachelor's degree in music elementary education from the University of Maine. She's currently completing her master's of science in educational psychology at USM with an anticipated completion date of August 2023. She's been a K-8 music teacher at Madison Elementary and Middle School for 3 years, general music teacher and band director at China Middle School for 4 years, and is presently a behavioral ed tech 3 at Wentworth School.
Do I have a motion to approve the Wentworth School Behavioral Specialist? as
So
presented?
moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Yes.
I noted that this was a new position. I was wondering why it was a one-year position, if you could explain that.
It's to fill an immediate need and, and having this 1 year position hopefully becoming, I think the need's going to justify it being part of the budget process. Have it be a permanent position going forward.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions? All right, all in favor? All right, agenda item 12.0 for the last time, adjourn, for some of us, adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, I would like to discuss a few things. I have a list. We may be here a while.
All right, all in favor? All right, thank you both again so much. We will miss you. Have a good evening.